Alright, so somehow Void Hunters have found a way to get better in Lightfall thanks to the new Void Fragment Echo of Cessation. Now, what this fragment does is finisher final blows will create a burst of void damage that will cause nearby combatants to become volatile, as well as defeating volatile targets will create a void breach, which is going to be what will make this all the difference. Now, what a void breach is, it's basically like the stasis shards that we would make when we would use stasis. However, on Void, it makes this build just 10 times better. So I'm going to go over the build and talk about things in further detail. So starting off, I'm going to be using Vortex Grenade because I find the most success with this grenade. And this build is also going to be very grenade heavy. We are going to have our grenade back very, very often thanks to the new mod changes that we can use, as well as stacking various mods. So for aspects, we're going to be using Stylus Executioner, which defeating a weakened, suppressed, or volatile target will grant us invisibility and true sight. So every time we get that kill with our volatile rounds on an enemy, we will be invised, which will also refresh our devour. So having that granted invisibility with our volatile rounds is absolutely insane, as well as vanishing step, which dodging makes us invis. So if we want to start the chain of us having invis with our volatile rounds and all that, we just go invis, or you can use your finisher on an enemy thanks to the fragment Echo of Obscurity. So finisher final blows will grant invisibility. So if you don't want to waste your dodge right away, if you want to save it, you just go for a finisher on an enemy and you'll have your invis, as well as your volatile rounds right off the rip. And we're also using, once again, the new Void Fragment Echo of Cessation, as well as Echo of Persistence, which void buffs apply to us, so our invis, devour will have an increased duration, as well as Echo of Starvation, which picking up a void breach or an orb of power will grant us devour. So when I was talking about those void breaches, that's when I was saying this changes the game. So, and we're going to be making void breaches pretty often thanks to Falcons. So you can run whatever you want in your kinetic and heavy slot. However, what really matters is going to be your energy slot. So I'm going to be using Unforgiven with Repulsor Brace. Any weapon you have with Repulsor Brace is going to make this build all the difference, just because defeating a void debuff target will grant us an overshield. So anytime we get it killing an enemy with our volatile rounds, we will be granted an overshield. So not only are we going to have an overshield pretty much all the time, invisibility pretty much all the time, volatile rounds pretty much all the time, as well as devour pretty much all the time. And when we pair this with the mods that we can run, so on our helmet, we're going to be running Harmonic Siphon. We're going to be running 2 of those because they do stack, and Rapid Void Weapon Final Blows will create an Orb of Power, which we do need for our armor charges as well as our devour, obviously. So multiple copies of these will make all the difference. We're also going to be using Ashes to Assets, which we will actually gain bonus super energy on grenade kills, which is going to be nice because we will have our grenade pretty often thanks to this build. Also going to be running on our arms Grenade Kickstart, which when your grenade energy is fully expended, we will gain grenade energy. This will consume our armor charge, and we are going to be using 2 copies of that just because they do stack, and will increase the potency of the effect, as well as firepower. So if you're wondering, why does your grenade kickstart only cost 1 energy? If you go in your artifact, you can actually unlock these mods, so authorized mods, grenades. The armor energy costs of all armor mods affecting our grenades are significantly discounted. So if you don't have that unlocked, I definitely would recommend unlocking it. And it makes all the difference. Like, I wouldn't be able to run both of those. Didn't have the artifact mod. We're also going to be running firepower, which our grenade final blows will also create an orb of power. So not only is our weapon creating orbs of power, but our grenades are as well. I'm also going to be running double stacks of charged up, only because it will increase the amount of stacks that we can carry of an armor charge by 1. So if we run 2 of those, the number of armor charges that we can carry will go up by 2. And in our legs, we're going to be running 2 copies of Innervation, which will reduce our grenade cooldown each time we pick up an orb of power, as well as stacks on stacks, which picking up an orb of power will grant us 1 additional stack of an armor charge. In our class item, where you're going to be running Utility Kickstart, we're going to be running 2 of those. What this will do is when your ability energy is fully expended, we will gain class ability energy. So when we use our dodge, we will get some of it back. So we're going to be running multiple copies of these because once again, they can stack. As well as Reaper, which after using your class ability, next weapon final blow will spawn an orb of power. So if we use our dodge to start things off, we want to get our devour right away. We dodge, kill an enemy, we'll have our overshield. We pick up that orb of power and we will have devour, invis, volatile rounds right off the rip as soon as we get into it. And that is going to be it for the build. So let me know your thoughts on this build, as well as what mods you would change. I do think that when I am recording this, the mod Reaper is actually disabled right now, so we do have to wait for that mod to come back. I am actually editing it right now, and I think I saw a post saying it was disabled, but just know that that mod might not work. So you could swap that out with something else. That's going to be up to you. But once that mod does come back, it will make all the difference as well. But this build is absolutely nasty. Let me know what you think of it, and I'll see you all in the next one, alright? Peace.